A Russian Space Forces, VKS, report says that one of their Cosmos 2469 satellites currently in orbit over North America has detected a gamma-ray burst of unprecedented proportions emanating from the United States Army's main weapons base Dugway Proving Ground located in their state of Utah. According to this report, since the formation of what is described as a magnetic vortex began appearing in the Gulf of Aden, CR December 1, 2010 report, mysterious vortex warned is creating global weather catastrophe, a growing number of gamma-ray bursts emanating from beneath our Earth and its seas, and directed towards the Sirius star system. Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky, have been detected and have given rise to the belief of many Russian scientists that they belong to an ancient early warning system of some type. One of the largest of these gamma-ray bursts was detected coming from the seas off the Florida coast in an area long believed to have once been a part of the lost continent of Atlantis, described by the classical Greek philosopher and mathematician Plato, 428-347 BC, as being a naval power lying in front of the Pillars of Hercules that conquered many parts of Western Europe and Africa 9,000 years before the time of Solon, or approximately 9,600 BC. Unlike other locations around our Earth where these gamma-ray bursts have been detected, however, the anomaly generating them off the Florida coast was in relatively shallow waters estimated at no more than 500 meters under the sea, and which this past week the United States Navy began one of their largest operations ever to recover. Now, according to this report, the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, issued an unprecedented warning to all pilots flying over this area that between the dates of January 20 and February 22 their Department of Defense, DoD, would be conducting tests leaving the Global Positioning System, GPS, unreliable or unavailable while this recovery operation was underway. The VKS in their report states that this DoD operation was, in fact, to remove from the pyramid-shaped structure discovered off the coast of Florida a capstone believed to be one of the sources of these mysterious gamma-ray bursts and remove it to the U.S. Army's Dugway Proving Ground located about 149 kilometers, 85 miles, southwest of Salt Lake City, Utah for further testing. Once this mysterious capstone was secured at Dugway Proving Ground yesterday, however, and presumably tests on it had begun, the Cosmos 2469 detected a massive series of gamma-ray bursts emanating from that location, and news reports from the United States stated that the base's commander, Colonel William E. King, locked down his whole facility, stating that they were trying to resolve a serious concern. According to the official U.S. government website about this base we can read, the Department of Defense has designated Dugway Proving Ground as a major range and testing facility, and the primary chemical and biological defense testing center under the Reliance program. The proving ground covers 798,214 acres. It is located in the Great Salt Lake Desert, approximately 85 miles southwest of Salt Lake City, Utah. Surrounded on three sides by mountain ranges, the proving ground's terrain varies from level salt flats to scattered sand dunes and rugged mountains. Independent American researchers, however, say this about Dugway Proving Ground. Its huge size and remote isolation serves many more secret purposes than that, and its general area also serves as a site for U.S. Air Force flight tests. It has also been alleged to have housed recovered UFOs in the past, and UFO activity is very frequent in this area. It has been alleged that much of the Area 51 secrets have been relocated to this area, and that combined with all the UFO activity has caused it to be referred to as Area 52, and it has become infamous for that. In November 2009, what has been alleged to be a meteor, UFO, lighting up the night sky exploded in the atmosphere, and scientists tracking its trajectory determined that the pieces fell in the Dugway Proving Ground area, so it got a little publicity as some wished to get access to the debris area. Part of that publicity is that the area is not just closed to civilians, even Army personnel are denied access to large areas because they are deemed too dangerous. One of America's top independent researchers named Steve Quayle, also, has written about this mysterious Atlantis anomaly, and as we can read from his January 23 report titled The Anomaly in the Atlantic Bermuda Triangle Strangeness, Ancient Gate Opening, or Atlantis Rising, and which, in part, says On Friday 1/22 they came back up in a flurry with many units trying to establish communications with Puerto Rico, and discussions were heard about an anomaly that was causing great difficulty with communications that was not due to normal propagation problems. The units which seemed to be in the Atlantic off Florida and in the Caribbean were having to change frequencies multiple times and working with Puerto Rico COMM station in order to get decent copy of messages. These were not normal reach flights but were coded units anxious to get their reports into the COMM station. Later Friday evening, the anomaly was detected by the ham operator. Initially, it was described as an amplitude-modulated signal of extreme power of many megawatts. It was constant and not pulsed and was in the VLF range. It showed up on the spectrum analyzer and also on lightning detection equipment which use the VLF for detection and mapping of lightning, which are normally used by pilots. The problem was that there were no storms in that area. The location of the anomaly was also actually further off the coast of Florida than the location given for the center of the circle for GPS tests, and closer to the Bermuda Triangle area. Specifically, it was stated that it exhibited a repeating pattern that was very strange, and unlike any the ham had ever heard. It was not a whistler or lightning or any other geophysical signal that the ham had ever heard in over 40 years of experience, though it was said, it is not man-made and it is causing major problems. It did show up on the lightning detection maps, but to repeat, no storms were present. On Saturday 1/22 the anomaly remained in place and seemed to be slowly growing in strength. Also, another anomaly of the same signal was detected north of the original by hundreds of miles, and on closer resolution each of these separate anomalies was two distinct sources very close to each other on the map. Saturday there was still no storm present in those areas. As we stated in our last report, millions of Chinese stunned after government makes Obama UFO statement, and in our reports Greenland sunrise shocks world as superstorms pound planet, poisonous space clouds slamming into Earth cause mass bird and fish deaths, pole shift blamed for Russian air disaster, closure of U.S. airport and massive earthquake fears rise after mysterious object moves nearer to Earth. The complexity of the dire issues now confronting our Earth are too voluminous for the average person to gain immediate knowledge of, as it takes decades, and in some cases centuries, to decipher, decode and fully understand the grave nature of the warnings passed down to us today from our ancient ancestors about what is happening now, and will happen in the future. To believing that your leaders will tell you the truth about what is really happening as more superstorms continue hitting our planet is not only beyond foolish, it is dangerous. Even this past week, one of America's top weather experts, Joe Bastardi of the State College of Pennsylvania's AccuWeather.com, was forced to admit that grave condition of our world's weather was not only unprecedented, but no one, in authority at least, was able to say what was causing it. In these times we live in, it is, perhaps, best for one to do what these so-called leaders are doing for themselves, instead of listening to what they say, and include such examples as, the Chinese government building what is described as an underground Great Wall that stretches for more than 5,000 kilometers in the Hebei region of their country, the United States government ordering hundreds of millions of blankets, body bags, and survival food, the Russian government ordering 5,000 additional bomb shelters to be built by 2012, and the building in Norway of what is called the Doomsday Seed Vault, where all of the seeds and plant DNA of our entire Earth are now being stored. Now, if our ancient ancestors are to be believed from the thousands of myths and legends handed down to us through the ages, then what is happening to our Earth, and this is what they said, not us, is that in the end of days our planet would cry out unto the heavens to the gods, who would then descend upon the Earth to save a remnant of humanity and restore what will soon be destroyed. And when these ancient myths and legends are combined with the technical knowledge we have today, it begins to appear that whomever, or whatever, these gods were, and when they left our planet after the last overturning, they set up a system monitoring our Earth, that when the end of days would come again, so would they.